Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to a overcast Aquatic ballpark today. Central Coast taking on your Manly Eagles live on EBSN, Eagles Baseball Sports Network. And Dean Story delivering the first pitch, and it's going to be in for strike one, and we're underway. Pink Hope Day, Ladies' Day here at the ballpark. So you'll see a lot of pink. The Manly Eagles players wearing pink caps. As that ball is up and in for ball one. 1 ball and 1 strike. Leading off for the Marlins is Luke Jacobs, the shortstop. So Story now tosses in the 1-1. And it's on the outside corner for strike 2. Umpires this morning behind the plate, Keith Lehman, and in the field, Nick Glasbrook. And a good running catch in left field by Kevin DeGale. Normally behind the dish, but Rhett Dinsdale with the duties today. No, it's not. It's Ben Little behind the plate. So 1 away in the top of the first. The right fielder Shane Holt. This one into shallow right field to Nathan Stenning, and Shane Holt will be aboard on a first pitch single into right field. Elijah Ansell now, the catcher for the Marlins. Dean Story keeping Holt close at first base. Throw just not in time over the second base from Ben Little. Good strong throw from the catcher. And Shane Holt steals second base. The Marlins now with the runner in scoring position with 1 out. And a big swing and miss there by Ansell. 1 ball and 1 strike for the Marlins catcher. 2 strikes, correction. And the 0-2 offering from Story is high, so it's a ball and 2 strikes. Kickoff attempt over to second. No throw. Holt back in, standing up, only the short lead over there. And a big swing at strike 3. And after not originally taking off to first base, the catcher, Ben Little, throws the ball over the head of Jackson Forbes at first base. And Ansel's going to get himself up to second base. And Scott Fielding's going to come out and challenge the call. Thinking maybe Ansel didn't deserve to go to first base, but he will stay at second. He will reach on the drop third strike on the error. And the runner in Holt from second base comes in to score, and the Marlins are ahead 1-0. That pitch missing down. 1 ball and no strikes. For the left-handed hitting centre fielder, Errol Guardia. That ball in the dirt for ball 2. Guardia ahead now. 3 balls and no strikes. Guardia swinging at that 3-0 delivery. And it'll be 3 balls and 1 strike. And he will take ball 4. It'll be Sean Smith. Runners on first and second and 1 out. Squares the bunt, pulls it back, but Keith Lehman calls it a strike. No balls and a strike for Sean Smith. A ball and 2 strikes now for Smith. No pitch outside for ball 2. Evens the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hit to Skockler Hessing at shortstop, turns it to Chris Fanari at second base, who throws it over to Jackson Forbes at first to complete the double play, and that'll finish the top of the first. The Marlins getting a run on that error, and the Eagles will come up to bat in the bottom of the first. We'll bring you the teams now. We'll start with the Central Coast. So you saw Luke Jacobs leading things off. He'll play shortstop. Shane Holt in right field. Eliza Ansell, the catcher. Errol Guardia playing centre field. Sean Smith pitching for the Marlins. Clayton Roberts at third base. Jaden Esmaili in left field. Hannah Blake at second base. And Scott Deeks at first. And the Manly Eagles. Scott Hesse will leave things off. Chris Fanari at second base. Dion Mason in centre field. Kevin DeGale, as I said, playing left field today. Dan Goodsall, designated hitter. Jackson Forbes at first. Nathan Stenning at right. Ben Little doing the catching today. And Sean Tenno at third base. And Dean Story on the mound for the Manly Eagles. So Scott Hesse leading things off in the bottom of the first inning, and he takes the first offering for a called strike one. And he lifts that into centre field. Plants himself underneath it, and that's the first out of the inning. Second baseman Chris Fanari will step in now. And he will foul off the first offering from Sean Smith over the first base dugout. And Sean Smith will work ahead on Fanari. And that pitch in for ball one. So that ball off the glove of the Marlins right fielder. Shane Holt not able to make that catch, and Chris Fanari will be aboard on the error. Dale Mason takes the first pitch from Sean Smith down in the dirt, and it's ball one. That into centre field. Early work out there for the centre fielder, Ansell. And he makes the catch for the second out of the inning. Chris Finari thought they might have got over the head of the centre fielder, but a good catch out there, and he had to hustle back to first base. So the catcher now, left fielder rather, Cav de Gale. Over to the right fielder, and this time he makes the catch, and that'll finish the first inning. Central Coast with the run on the top. The Eagles unable to answer, and after the first inning, Central Coast 1, the Manly Eagles none on the Procar Automotive scoreboard. Clayton Roberts leading things off for the Marlins in the top of the second inning. He's got a called strike and a ball against his name. And the 1-1 offering from Dean Story. Lifted in left field. Cav de Gale can't make the catch. And Clayton Roberts will be into second base on the error. Leading things off for the Marlins here in the top of the second. Jaden Ismaili now, the left fielder for the Marlins. called strike, a foul, and then a call there for the third strike of the at-bat. Dean Story has his first strikeout of the day. And the Eagles have one away here in the top of the second inning. Hannah Blake at bat for the Marlins. She's ahead of the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Clayton Roberts standing on second base there in scoring position for the Marlins. And that pitch down for ball 3. So Hannah Blake working to count, 3 balls and a strike. And Story in with a strike to fill things up. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And that pitch on the outside corner. Hannah Blake caught looking. Second in a row for Story, and it's 2 out in the top of the second inning. So 2 out, and it's going to be Scott Deeks swinging the pink bat here on Pink Hope Ladies' Day. And he will foul the first pitch from Story off the end of the bat. And he'll be behind no balls and 1 strike. Deeks grounds the ball to Forbes at first. Story getting over to make the play. Good bit of pitching fielding then by the pitcher Story. And he will make the 3rd out at first base. And the error won't come back to haunt Manly. Deeks becoming the 3rd out at first. So the Eagles come up to bat with Goodsall, Forbes and Stenning in the bottom of the second. Bottom of the second for the Manly Eagles. Second baseman Daniel Goodsall will lead things off. Got his first appearance in third grade this year. Not down there for any other reason except he has a family commitment this afternoon. So he made himself available in third grade. And he takes the first pitch from Sean Smith for strike one. Ball in the dirt. And another ball from Sean Smith gets Goodsall ahead. 2 balls and 1 strike. And that pitch just missing on the outside corner. So 3 balls and a strike for Goodsall. Goodsall lifts that ball into left field. And the left fielder Ismaili takes the catch, and that'll be the first out of the bottom of the second inning. First baseman Jackson Forbes now steps in. Left-handed hitter takes the first pitch from Sean Smith up for ball 1. Forbes will ground that ball up the middle into centre field and he'll be aboard. First base runner for the Eagles in the bottom of the second inning. So the right fielder Nathan Stenning steps up. Jackson Forbes standing over on first base. And Stenning will take the first pitch from Smith down in the dirt, and he'll be ahead 1 ball and no strikes. Stenning lifts that ball into left field as Mally's going to track it down. Takes a very good catch out near the fence in left field. And Nathan Stenning will be retired for the second out of this bottom of the second. Central Coast outfielders doing a lot of work in the first inning in 2/3. Sean Smith getting the Manly hitters to put the ball in play, and his field is backing him up very well. So Ben Little, the catcher today, he steps in with 2 out. Jackson Forbes standing on first, and he'll take the first pitch from Sean Smith for a called strike. And he'll be behind no balls and a strike. And that pitch on the outside corner for strike 2. Marlins 1 pitch away from finishing off the second inning and getting their bats back into the game. And that ball fouled off over the back screen. Counter remain, no balls and 2 strikes. And Ben Little puts that into centre field, but once again, there's a fielder there, and that will end the bottom of the second. Manly Eagles unable to score, And the Central Coast Marlins will finish things off in the second, leading 1-0 over the Manly Eagles on the Pro Car automatic scoreboard. So the Marlins back to the top of their lineup. And it's going to be the right fielder, Luke Jacobs, to lead things off. And he will hit this over the head of Scockler Hessig at shortstop. And Luke Jacobs will be aboard. Story keeping Jacobs close over at second. At first, rather. Jacobs takes off to second base. Ben Little's throw not in time. And Central Coast will have a runner at second in scoring position. Shane Holt working the count. 3 balls and no strikes here for the Marlins. None out in the top of the third inning. And he will hack at the ball for pitch. Sean Tano can't make the throw. And he will be aboard with a single. Luke Jacobs moving up 90 feet over to third base. And the Marlins will have runners on the corners with none out here in the top of the third inning. Will be the catcher, Elijah Ansell, hitting with none out here. Central Coast threatening in the top of the third with none out. Putting the ball in play. A lot like the Eagles, but able to find the gaps as opposed to the outfielders. And that ball's popped up. Scott Hesse moves underneath it, makes the catch, and that will be the first out of this inning. Runners holding their position on the bases. Errol Guardia now, the centre fielder, busy today in defence with a couple of catches. He walked in his first at bat in the first inning and was part of the 6-4-3 double play to finish the first. Guardia fouls that one off, so 1 ball and 1 strike. Story missing with that pitch up for ball 2. 2 balls and a strike for Guardia here. Hitting with 1 out and runners on the corners in the top of the third inning. And Holt takes second base there, uncontested. So 2 runners in scoring position. For the Marlins here. Guardia lifts that ball up high into the sky. No one going for it. Oh, Jackson Forbes comes in, makes the catch in foul territory. And he will be the second out of the top of the third inning. Both catcher Ben Little and pitcher Dean Story hanging back on that one. Jackson Forbes coming in to make the catch. So Sean Smith will bat with 2 out here. Couple of runners waiting to score. And he will swing at the first pitch offering from Dean Story. Story ahead, no balls and a strike. Sorry, just missing with that 0-2 pitch. Remains ahead though, 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 out here in the top of the third. And Sean Smith swings and misses at that one. And that'll finish the top of the third. Eagles able to keep the Marlins from scoring. And Sean Tanner will lead things off in the bottom of the third with Central Coast Marlins 1, Manly Eagles none in the Procar Automotive scoreboard. Sean Tanner stepping in for the Eagles here. Bottom of the third, Central Coast Marlins leading 1-0. You're watching New South Wales State League third grade baseball live on EBSN, Eagles Baseball Sports Network. Overcast morning here at Aquatic Ballpark as Sean Tanner takes the second offering from Sean Smith for ball 1, and Tanner will have a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Tanner takes ball 2. Pulls that ball over the glove of Clayton Roberts at third base. And Sean Tanner will be aboard with a single to start things off here in the bottom of the third. So the Eagles turning the lineup over. It's going to be the shortstop, Scott Clahessy. And he takes a called strike at the knees. No balls and 1 strike for Clahessy here. Scott flew out to the centre fielder in the first inning. And Sean Smith checks over at first base. Tanner back standing up. Bunt attempt there by Clahessy is fouled back. And he'll be behind no balls and 2 strikes. And that pitch, the 0-2 from Sean Smith, just missing. Clahessi with a ball and 2 strikes. Tano taking off. That's going to be a swing and a miss with a slight edge from Clahessi to foul it off and keep his at-bat alive. Sean Turner will have to go back to first base and try and steal second again. And a hard hit ball into left field from Clahessi. Sean Tanner will move up 90 feet to second base, and Scott Clahessi will be aboard with a single into left field. Runners on first and second for the Eagles with none out. That'll bring up the second baseman, Chris Finari. Drove the ball into right field in the first inning. Was aboard on the error. And he will bunt to Clayton Roberts at third base, who will field the ball. But he won't be able to get it in time of a very speedy Chris Finari, who pushed out a very hard 90 to get himself aboard. And that bump will load the bases here in the bottom of the third inning. And there still remains none out. So Dion Mason will bat here. Loaded bases. Flew out to centre field in his first at-bat in the first inning. And Chris Finari asleep at first base. Sean Smith picking him off. And that will be the first out of the inning. And Sean Smith will deliver a first pitch strike to Dion Mason. That pitch up and away for ball one. Mason lifts that ball over the head of the shortstop into left field. It's going to score 2 runs here for the Eagles, with Scott Clahessi hustling round third. And Dion Mason will knock in 2 runs here to give the Manly Eagles the lead in the bottom of the third inning. Takes the 1-1 pitch over the head of the shortstop into centre field. And the Manly Eagles are in front and in business. Left fielder Cav de Gale steps up for the Eagles. Flew out to the right fielder in the first inning. Dion Mason moves up 90 feet on the pass ball. And the Eagles with another runner in scoring position here. Correction, hit by a pitch. I had my head down in the book, so I didn't see what happened. So the Eagles runners on first and second. Yeah, looking at the replay, Kevin DeGale was very slow to react to the ball hitting him. Hence why I assumed the ball was down and away. Umpire Keith Lehman telling him to take his place at first. And Daniel Goodsall now with runners at first and second. Lifts that ball into left field, but it will hook foul. And he'll be behind No balls and 2 strikes. And a big hack at a high pitch there from Smith. We'll see Goods will go down. Second out of the inning. The left-handed hitting Jackson Forbes steps in and takes the first pitch from Sean Smith for a called strike. No pitch too high. 1 ball and a strike now for Forbes. Cave DeGale at first base. Dion Mason with the 2 RBI single. Standing at second, taking his lead. And the 1-1 pitch is low for ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Forbes will pull that through the hole in the right-hand side of the field. Dion Mason will turn the corner at third base. Going to be a close play at the plate, but the catcher can't hold on to the ball to make the play, and Dion Mason will score third, the third run of the Eagles inning. Good aggressive base running by the man, the Eagles, Scott Fielding, waving Mason around the whole time. Would have been a very close play at the plate. Catcher Ansell just not able to get the ball into the glove, and the Eagles have their third run of the inning. Nathan Stenning popping the ball up into left field, and it's going to fall in between the shortstop and the left fielder. Nathan Stenning not happy with himself on the swing, but he will find himself aboard with a double, and he drives in another 2 very important runs here for the Eagles. So Ben Little with the 9th batter of this inning. Manly cashing in here on some opportunity. And Ben Little will bat with 2 out, and Nathan Stenning standing on second base. So 2 called strikes here for Ben Little. That ball fouled up. Ansell gets under this one, and he makes the catch in foul territory, and that will end the bottom of the third inning. The Manly Eagles scoring 5 to take the lead. It's the Eagles 5, Marlins 1 on the Procar Automotive Scoreboard. Clayton Roberts in the box here for the Central Coast Marlins, leading off the top of the 4th inning. Manly Eagles knocking in 5 in the bottom of the 3rd. Get themselves in front and into this ball game after a bit of a slow start. Found plenty of contact, just couldn't quite find the green of the outfield. The Eagles now holding a 5-1 lead with Clayton Roberts behind a ball and 2 strikes. And the 1-2 pitch from Story is up. And then the 2-2 from Story down for ball 3. So Clayton Roberts filling up this count. The 3-2 pitch from Story. Gets the ball straight back at him. Makes the catch. Throws it over to Jackson Forbes the first. And that'll be the first out of the inning. Left fielder Jaden Ismaili now steps in here for the Marlins. And he'll take the first pitch from Dean Story for a strike. Jaden without a hit yet in 3rd grade so far this season. 8 appearances, 12 at-bats, has scored 2 runs. Story has him behind, no balls and 2 strikes here with 1 out in the top of the 4th inning. That ball down in the dirt and it'll be ball 1. A ball and 2 strikes now for Ismaili. And Story will get the first out of the inning on a swing from Ismaili. Two away here in the top of the 4th. And I'll bring up the second base, Hannah Blake. She receives the ball 1 there from Dean Story. Takes the 1-0 offering foul. Over towards the broadcast booth. Just taking the fence. I was hoping it wouldn't have rebounded on top of us. Hannah Blake taking that ball down and in for ball 1, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike now. Good morning to our viewers watching online. Let us know where you're watching from. Feel free to say g'day on this Pink Hope Ladies' Day at the ballpark. Raising money for breast cancer and ovarian cancer research. And Hannah Blake will pop out to the third baseman, Sean Tano, for the third out of the top of the fourth. And the Manly Eagles will come up to bat with that man Tano to lead things off. Manly Eagles 5, Central Coast 1 on the Procar Automotive scoreboard. Sean Tanner for the Eagles. He takes ball one down. Sean Smith fires back with a called strike. One ball and a strike now for Tano. Tano lifts that ball into left field. But Jaden Ismaili makes the running catch. And Sean Tano is retired for the first out of the top bottom of the fourth. Top of the lineup for the Eagles. Skokla Hesse. Singled in the last inning. Was part of that 5-run bottom of the third, giving Manly their first lead of this ball game. Taking back control. He's ahead quickly, 2 balls and no strikes. And he lifts that ball over the head of Ismaili into left field. He'll turn around first, hustle into second base, and it'll be a stand-up double for Skokla Hesse. 3 hard hit balls, resulting in 2 hits for the recent father of twin boys. That'll bring to the plate the second baseman, Chris Finari, who hustled out a bunt to third base in his last at bat, but was caught in no man's land, courtesy of a pick-off from the Central Coast pitcher, Sean Smith. And he takes the first pitch for ball 1. Foul tip into the glove for strike 1, and that's going to be a ball and a strike for Finari. That ball just not able to get into the glove of the shortstop. And it rolls away far enough for Glahesi to move up to third base. We'll see how the scorers record that. We'll put it down as a single for now and wait official confirmation from the scorers. So runners on the corners for the Eagles with one out. It'll be Dion Mason as Fenari takes off to second base. He's in there with a hook slide. And the Eagles will have two runners in scoring position. It'll be Dion Mason, who singled to centre field, scoring 2 runs in his previous at bat, putting Manly on the board for the first time as he hooks that 0-1 offer, a 1-0 offering into the left field foul territory. 1 ball and a strike for Mason. And a big daddy hack there for Mason. He's now behind 1 ball and 2 strikes. And he can't keep up with that one, and he'll be down on strikes. Second out of the inning for Sean Smith. And his second strikeout of the morning. Kevin DeGale takes ball 1 to get his third at-bat of the day underway. He bats with runners at second and third. We're looking to cash these runners in and extend Manly's lead here in the bottom of the 4th inning. DeGale moves ahead 2 balls and no strikes. Currently hitting .389 through his 7 games played on the season. 7 hits from 18 at-bats as he fouls off the 2-0 pitch from Sean Smith. 5 runs scored for Cav with 7 RBIs. He's walked 5 times with 1 strikeout and was hit by a pitch in his previous at-bat. That pitch just missing on the inside corner. 3 balls and a strike now for DeGale. And that'll be a broken back single. DeGale slow to get out of the box. Fenari turning around third base, almost getting himself out on another base running error, but he gets back just in time despite a desperate lunge from Clayton Roberts at third base. Cav thought he got more than he did. Didn't quite get to Roberts at third base. And he hustles up to first to put runners on the corners. 2 out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Daniel Goodsall now 0 for 2 on the day so far with the fly ball to left field and striking out in his previous at-bat. Cav the Gale takes off as Dan Goodsall takes strike 2. So 2 runners in scoring position now for Goodsall. And Sean Smith will strike him out for a second time today. His third strikeout of the inning. And that'll do it. Player's not quite sure how many out. Made me question myself for a second, but it was the third out. And that'll end the fourth inning. The Eagles 5-1 on the Procar Automotive scoreboard. Correction, 6-1 on the Procar Automotive scoreboard. Scott Deek steps in here in the top of the fifth inning. And he'll take the first pitch from Dean Story for ball 1. The 1-0 for Story falling in for strike 1. 1 ball and a strike. Deek swinging through that one for a strike. Story ahead now, a ball and 2 strikes. And he gets Deeks to swing and missing that one for the first out of the inning. Story's 5th strikeout on the morning. We have 1 away in the top of the 5th, with the top of the order coming up for the Marlins. And Luke Jacobs gets the ball there with a single into left field. It's going to call for a meeting from the manager, Scott Fielding. Just talk things over with one out here in the top of the 5th. Looks like the lefty Ben Logue's ready to go. Fielding just telling his starting pitcher to not let any more runners on base. Otherwise he'll go to Logue. Strong throw from Little over to second base, but not in time for the speedy Jacobs, and he will steal second base. That ball hit to the shortstop, Glahesi. Picks it up and fires over to Forbes at first base. And that'll be the second out of the inning. Jacobs moving up 90 feet to third base. Put himself 90 feet away from scoring the second run here for the Marlins. Elijah Ansell now, the catcher. Batting here for the Marlins with 2 out. Swings at the first pitch. Then sees the 0-1 from Story for ball 1. Even in the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. That pitch in for strike 2. Dean Story 1 pitch away from finishing the top of the 5th. And he gets a swing in the dirt, and that'll be the third out. Manly Eagles 6, Central Coast 1, as we head into the bottom of the 5th inning. Jackson Forbes will lead things off for the Manly Eagles in the bottom of the 5th inning. We'll recap some of the results so far over the weekend. Firstly, with the Wednesday night game. Manly Eagles getting the win 2-0 in a shortened game due to light and power failure. The lights going off a couple of times, but the minimum amount of time had elapsed, so the result of 2-0 stood for the Eagles. Yesterday, the Eagles going down in the under 18s game by 1 to the Central Coast. And on Friday night, the Manly women's team with a 14-2 victory, their 9th win of the season. And they defeated the Penrith Leopards to consolidate their second position in the women's second grade standings. Jackson Forbes flying out to the centre fielder there to lead things off. And then following the 18s game yesterday, the Manly Futures, the up-and-coming under-18 players. A lot of those players pressing for selection in not only this year's team for the second half of the season, but also preparing themselves for next season. They had a big upset victory over one of the competition heavyweights in the Big Dogs. 7-6. They were able to hold off a fast-finishing Big Dogs team, and they got the win, their second of the season, after defeating the Forest Mets earlier on in the year. Couple of quick outs here for Sean Smith and the Marlins. Jackson Forbes flying out to centre field, and then Nathan Stenning flying out to the catcher on the first pitch he saw from Sean Smith. So 2 outs on 3 pitches, and Ben Little fouls off the first pitch he sees from Sean Smith. That pitch on the outside for ball 1. 1 ball and a strike. Two balls and a strike now for Ben Little. Batting here in the bottom of the 5th with 2 out. Lifts that into shallow right centre field. It'll be the right fielder who will come in. And Ben will pick up his first hit of the day, slinging into right field. Sean Turner lifts that thing into centre field again, and a good hustle by the centre fielder, but he's unable to get it. Ben Little turns around second base, heads over to third. Sean Tanner's also heading over to third base with Ben Little coming in to score, and it's going to be a stand-up triple to Sean Tanner. Ben Little coming in, clutching at his hamstring, but he's going to go all the way home from first base. Manly Eagles picking up their 7th run of the ball game, and Sean Tanner 90 feet away from extending the Manly Eagles lead even further. Scott Lahesi taking the first pitch he sees for a called strike 1. And he gets The second pitch back to Sean Smith, who picks it up, underarm toss to first base, and that'll be the third out at the bottom of the fifth. So after 5 complete, Manly Eagles 7, Central Coast Marlins 1 on the Procar Automotive scoreboard. Defensive changes for the Eagles in the top of the 6th inning. Dean Story's afternoon is done, only giving up the 1 run in the first inning. Now on the mound is the left-hander, Ben Logue. "15 innings so far through the season, sporting a 6.6 ERA with 15 runs, 11 earned on 17 hits. Struck out 10 but walked 15 so far on the season, so he'll be definitely looking to improve some of those statistics. So Ben Little is out of the game. Looked like a strained hamstring as he hustled all the way from first to home. Kevin DeGale comes in from left field to do the catching duties, and Ben Saunders will be the replacement for Little, swapping spots with Cav DeGale in left field. And Ben Logue will start with a first pitch strike. And that pitch missing down and inside for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike for the centre fielder Guardia. One pitch just missing. So 2 balls and a strike now for Guardia. He'll foul off the 2-1 pitch to the back screen. Even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Errol Guardia, 313 average on the season. 5 hits on 16 at-bats with 6 runs scored. And he will swing and miss the 2-2 pitch from Ben Logue. And Ben will have his first strikeout victim of the morning. 6th of the game from the Eagles pitching staff. So that'll bring up Sean Smith. And Ben Logue starts with a strike on Sean Smith. And the 0-1. Hit up to first base to Jackson Forbes. Gloves the ball. Waits for his pitcher to get over. And Ben Logue will have the put out at first base for the second out of the inning. So with 2 out for the Marlins, it'll be Clayton Roberts. 385 average through his 5 games played. 5 for 13 with 3 runs scored and a pair of RBIs to his name. And he'll take the first pitch from Logue for a called strike. That 0-1 pitch on the corner. Logue ahead quickly. No balls and 2 strikes. And Roberts will foul that one hard into the ground. Keep his bat alive here in the top of the 6th inning. Roberts will lift that one foul over to the right side. Count will remain 2 balls and 2 strikes. No balls and 2 strikes. Another foul over the right side for Roberts. Third grade and second grade, 2 and an hour quarter timed games. And the 0-2 is upstairs for ball 1. This game kicking off at 9:30. So we won't have any new inning after 11:35, which is 24 minutes away. As Clayton Roberts takes the 1-2 pitch down to even the count now. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ben Logue 1 pitch away. Getting the Manly offense back into this game. And a big swing and miss from Clayton Roberts gets it done. So after the top of the 6th, Manly Eagles 7, Central Coast 1. Chris Fenari leading things off here in the bottom of the sixth for the Manly Eagles. And he takes the first pitch from Sean Smith for a called strike one. And then the 0-2 is down for ball one. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So 2-2 now for Fenari. He punches that one to the shortstop, who can't get it in. And it'll be another base hit for Chris Fenari. So Fenari standing on first. Dion Mason steps up into the box. He'll take the first pitch from Sean Smith for ball one. Dion Mason lifts that ball into left field. But Elijah Esmaili right underneath it, and that'll be the first out of the bottom of the 7th inning. 6th inning, rather. Check over at first. Murray only a couple of steps off the base, so he's back in easily. Cove the bout. DeGale swings and misses at that one. So DeGale behind 0-1 and fouls off that pitch over towards the Manly dugout. No balls and 2 strikes for DeGale. Pink Hope Ladies Day at the ballpark here at Aquatic. Festivities kicking off at midday with the ceremonial first pitch from our Pink Hope ambassadors. And all the ladies in attendance are being treated to free champagne and nibblies, as well as mini manicures from our amazing manicurist and nail art specialist, Kelly Steinhauer, from Nails by Kel. As Cav DeGale takes that ball down in the dirt, one ball and 2 strikes. Second grade getting underway at midday. And then the main game at 2:30. All Manly players today wearing pink hats. As Fenari takes off, and he will be doubled off. Catch by the shortstop coming running in. Fenari's in 2 minds whether to go back or keep going. Shortstop made the catch and the toss to first to complete the double play, and that'll finish the 6th inning. Manly Eagles 7, Central Coast 1 on the Procar Automotive scoreboard. Jaden Esmaili now leading things off here for the Marlins. Top of the 7th inning. Been a very busy boy out in left field today. Plenty of action his way, and he's certainly held his own out there, making a couple of good running catches. Takes that first pitch offering from Ben Logue for ball 1. Ben Logue back in there with a strike on the swing. 1 ball and 1 strike. Caught strike there for Logue for the second strike of the at-bat. A ball and 2 strikes now for Esmaili. And the pitch just up and away. Two balls and 2 strikes now. Esmaili draws the walk. Ben Logue not able to locate the 3-2 pitch. It'll be the first walk of the game for the Manly pitching staff. Ben Logue fires back to Hannah Blake with the first pitch strike. 0-1 for Hannah. Yeah, one from Logue is inside for ball 1. 1 ball and a strike. Correction, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Hannah Blake will go down swinging. First out of the top of the 7th. First baseman now, Scott Deeks. That's here with 1 out, and then a runner on first in the form of Jaden Esmaili. First and second. And he takes ball 1 from Ben Logue. Logue leaving that one up for ball. for the Marlins. For the designated hitter for the Eagles. That pitch up for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes here for the Manly Eagles right fielder. 1 for 3 on the day. The left field. Field in his second at bat of the day. And he'll take Sean Smith